All right, and we are live. Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is TBone here, and it is Tuesday again, so I am doing a preview of the last event of this season. The event is called Deadly Lessons, and this is a Fire Commander event. So after this preview, what I'll do is I will be making a follow-up video to compare all of the Ultimate forms in this past season. I'll be giving recommendations for what I think would be a good card to go after. So this is the very last one that they're going to have for this particular season, and they've advertised it with this being the first triple attack deck. I haven't actually taken a look at the cards yet, so I'm curious what it's going to be like. And so I want to see if it's going to be worth it. Honestly, it's kind of been a lackluster, so to speak, the last few events. And so I'm looking forward to a good event deck and seeing that, see if it works well. So we got some people in the chat today, right now, joining us here. We got Don, Billy, and Nolia, Jose, Kenneth, got Akia, and Rick, Melvin, and Marvin. Welcome to the stream here. All right, so let's take a look at the cards first. So it's called Deadly Lessons. It is an Immortal Killer deck. Okay, so Fire Immortal Killer is going to be the name of the game, and we have seen some past Fire Immortal cards, so that's definitely something that you can use. I will, as usual, showcase some of those cards that you could potentially use if you don't get this particular deck. All right, and we got more people joining here, so welcome everybody. Everyone's, basically we should all be at home now, so glad that you guys can be joining me here today. We can spend some time, talk about the cards, and also see if I may be able to get a little bit lucky and pull the cards I need for this event. I do have enough coins to get one card. I can craft one card, so we can see if we can potentially get lucky here. All right, so this is the ultimate form here, Perceptive Gurus. I actually thought that the art is pretty good. I also really like the event card, which I will show a little bit later. You can see it's part of my background here. I actually really like her, so I will be showing that for sure. So Perceptive Gurus look like they are potentially monks in a monastery. But let's take a look. Okay, so the battle skill here. This card will create 4 Power Gem 3s. And for every 100 Immortal Killer intensity, creates 1 more. And it receives a triple attack buff for a turn. While triple attack is active, this hero will strike an additional 2 times on its next attack. Okay, so basically it will be 3 attacks total, and each dealing exactly 100% of the damage of the main attack. So this is kind of like basically kind of like the Fire Despots of Despair type deck, where you attack and it takes the same damage and it applies itself the next time. But before, what it did was it would attack 1 time after in the next turn, and you'll attack for 150%. Now what it's going to do is going to do 2 hits, so you essentially are getting 200% damage. Okay, so it's basically a follow-up nuke deck. And so these type of decks generally aren't too bad, but it also depends on whether there is attack, any attack boost or any passive gems. So far, I'm not seeing an attack boost, and I'm not seeing additional gems here. So let's take a look at the passive here. So when you attack by an enemy, you increase the Immortal Killer by, here it is. When you attack by an enemy, increase the Immortal Killer attack by 1200%. And gain 15% damage reduction for your next turn. Now, this is actually really interesting. So the deck, this card will actually attack twice the next turn. And this is a commander event, so you're going to get attacked every single turn. So that means after you activate this card and then you do your attack, you're going to be attacked by the boss. And then that means the very next turn, your nuke, I would expect to then get the 1200% buff, and you hit twice. And so that is actually going to be a significant boost of its nuke, actually. So it's more than just 100%, because you're getting 100% of the damage, but then you gain... No, I'm going to take it back. It depends on the wording. So initially, I'm kind of confused, because I thought that what it'll do is it will take the 100% damage, and then it'll boost it by 1200%. But if the way that it's worded, if I understand the way it's worded correctly, it actually will not get the 1200% boost. Instead, it's going to take exactly whatever you damage you dealt, and then just apply that regardless of the attack boost. So I'm trying to see how this would work. And I think that's what it is. So I think what you want to do is you want to be attacked first, then you go ahead and activate everything, and then do your attack. And then what it'll do is they'll take that damage and then apply 100% of that the very next turn. So I think that's how it's going to work here. And so a little bit confusing, but I believe that's how it should work. And if I can get the cards, then I'll definitely try it out. Right. And so we've also got Jessica Cornwell and Heath and Boonk. And we got James, Paul, and Mark Wilson, Bob, and Tamara. C. Creek, Mark, Mr. Hawklands, Nicholas, and a bunch of other people there have joined in the stream. Thank you for joining us here. So, spend a few minutes to try and understand how this works, but I think that the nuke damage will not increase by the 1200%. Instead, what you want to do is you want to apply the 1200% in your original damage, so you can take that, and then you can basically do a big hit. That's how I'm understanding it, but let's take a look if we can get the card, and we can see how that works. So let's go ahead and collect some of our coins here, and this is actually pretty good for me. So I have the ultra rare version of this card. This is the Master Collection card that is also Immortal Killer, Lagomorphic Queen. So if I can actually get this card from my collection, then I can actually forge an ultimate form without actually using my coins. But if I don't pull this card, I can use my Proving Grounds coin to actually get her to complete my collection. So now let's take a look at the Master Collection card here. This is Christopher the Sage. And so this is the card that will create the power gems, and it doesn't have the passive. But this is the card that's going to do the nuke. Okay. And so this card will attack, basically create 4 power gem 3s and then attack twice. So that is basically the kind of the Freedom Fighter type style damage, but it'll have a smaller nuke, right? Because it doesn't deal for 5 times damage. But it does deal it twice. So you're basically going to get the Master Collection card and the Ultimate Form that can all nuke. The thing I'm thinking about this though is because they've broken up the nuke to multiple hits, this actually isn't that great for the overkill. The reason I say that is because instead of a giant nuke that is like 200% of your damage, you chunked it up now to 2 separate nukes, each dealing just 100%. So what that really means is if you can't really get the attack, if you can't get, big enough hit on the first turn, your very next hit is going to deal, basically the same thing twice, but it'll essentially kill it the first nuke, and the second nuke may not even apply anymore. So I don't think you're going to be able to get good overkill bonus with this type of deck. Whereas this is actually a really good type, this is a really good mechanic for a Slayer type deck if you are looking to take out a big boss, right? But in Commander, you're going to have a bit of a problem, I think, with the overkill bosses. Although I think this would also be good for just generally bosses that you don't need to worry about overkill in general. This will help you take them down for sure. So this is the ultra rare card, the Burning Bruiser. So this is the card that will it also spawns power gems. So all of the cards here spawn power gems for you, and this will increase based on Immortal Killer intensity. And when you're attacked, then it also increases your attack by 1200%. So again, with Master Collection card, the Ultimate Form and the Ultra Rare, you're going to get 2400% damage boost. It's really important now. So something to think about. I've been thinking about this for the last few events now. The meta at this point for this generation is you want to look for cards that can give you at least 1200 to 2400% damage boost, which we're seeing in almost all of our Commander decks now. These cards are going to make our Slayer decks extremely powerful because of these boosts. All right, and so this is also really important to think about. When you want to go for a deck, you want to go for one that gives you a damage boost. And in this case, I would say that just based on the abilities alone, I think that this is actually worth going after, especially if you have coins left over. I think this is actually one that you could spend your coins on. I think that having this would work really well for the future Fire Slayer event that is going to be Immortal Slayer event. And so I think that you'll just like when we were able to use Circuit Break Hilaria for the Arcane Fire Slayer event, you can use this deck for the Fire Immortal Slayer event. Now, Tenacious Saori, I actually really like this art here. So she kind of looks like Maggie Q, in my opinion. So like that's the first impression I had when I saw this, and so I just wanted to point this out. But anyways, this is the event card here. Similar to the Master Collection card, this card will also create power gems. It does also have the I think it just attacks one time. So it doesn't actually attack twice, it just attacks once for 75% of the damage. So slightly weaker and doesn't deal, doesn't actually attack that much. And no other passives other than that. But as far as event card goes, it's, you know, at least a little bit more useful than some of the other ones that we've seen. So far so good, I think. And then we have the support card. I want to take a look here. So support card is Ivan the Flame Fist. And his ability essentially creates fire gems and is a healer. All right. So this is a generic gem spawner. And it's a 10,000% is actually a pretty significant heal. So a few support cards will help you get the gems. It's just not power gems, so you're not going to get as much damage output there. And we do have a weaken. So weaken is going to be a problem because we're getting damage boost. And I bet you, well, I'm curious. I shouldn't bet. I'm curious if there's also going to be weaken dispel, because weaken dispel is going to be important for this deck here. You have to dispel weaken in order to allow yourself to get the damage boost. So far we have chaos. So we don't have a weaken dispel here. And this is again chaos. And let's take a look at the ultimate form. So basically you can't just have a team of just the Master Collection card, ultimate form, and ultra rare, because as I suspected, you can't dispel weaken. And so if you face off against a boss that does have weaken in it, then you have to bring in either the support card or another card in there. Okay, so let's see. So Rick Watson, yes, the buff is going to be active on turn 2. And boom, you have about 100 coins this season. You don't have any of the ultimate form. I would say, based on what I'm seeing right now, the fire commander this event, and also the earth commander from 2 events ago are the ones that I would recommend. And so Melvin, is there a recommendation for cards to make the second hit more of a big nuke? Well, let's take a look. I think that the biggest damage you're going to deal is if you can get cards that provide a lot of power gems. Right now, they create 4 power gems, and then it's one of those things where on turn 2, you're not really going to get a lot, because it's one of those things where you get power gems and then more based on intensity. So you may want to bring other cards that can give you more power gems. So like, for example, I would say bringing in the fire... The lions, I forget, Creed's, can't remember his name. So it's going to be Fire Immortal Killer. Okay. So Blitzkrieg. So this card is also Immortal Killer. It's fire, and it will create basically 8 power gems, because on turn 2, you should still have over 50% health. And so you can generate 8 power gems along with the other power gems there. And this is going to help you create more power gems on turn 2, so you can build up a higher damage output there. Okay, and so we got Keith from UK. Hello, welcome here. And would you be able to use the Slayer's Immortal Killer? Yes, you would, because you can actually use a card. So all cards now basically boost immortal, like they basically boost by killer bonus, and so it doesn't matter whether you have Commander or Slayer now. They're all going to work pretty well, actually. So got a bunch of gems saved up. I basically hardly spent any last event, and along with basically the bounty hunter event, and also with the event just ending, I got some more gems here, so I can go to at least tier 4. I think I'm going to take a look, because I think this is actually worth going after. So let's go ahead and open up and see what we can get here. Bellstream, do I think this deck is good on it? Can do 500%. I think it's going to, like, if it gets 500%, it's going to have to do it on its own without any nuke. Like, it's not going to actually need its nuke. And given that you can basically increase your damage by at least 2400 if you have the ultimate form plus the ultra rare. I think there's a chance, especially if you get a second ultra rare card, because then you can get 3600% damage boost, and if you can get a deck, basically a board full of power gems, then I think it should have no problem. So you get 900% from ultimate form, plus you get another 3600% or 2400. Yes, I think by itself it should be able to. Just based on what I saw, it should come close. Let me put it this way. It should come close. I can't say for sure that's going to give you the 500%, but it should come close. And so we got Daniela from Brazil. Welcome to the stream. All right, so we got a support card on tier 1. Let's see what we get on tier 2. Now there's also an advertisement that you get you get 2 relics on tier 5. I don't know whether you get both the rare and also the regular relic on tier 5. So I didn't check. But so far I've got 3 support cards. That's what I'm seeing here. 2 tiers, 3 support cards so far. Let's hope for a gold card on tier 3 or tier 4. So far no gold cards yet. But in tier 3, what I'm expecting to see is... we got the main event relic, and we're going to get 3 cards here. Tier 4, you get another main card and a main hero. In Tier 5, you get the rare relic plus a bonus 6 event. Oh, I see. You get a bonus rare relic. And so basically, if you... so basically, you can get at least a 2-star ultimate relic. That's what it means. Okay. So let's go. We're going to get at least 1 gold card because I get a... relic here. Let's hope for a gold card, like either Master Collection card or the ultra rare, because I'm actually okay using my coins to craft it. So here is the main relic, Ignited Gloves, and let's see if we get so I got keys and more keys. So this has been a pretty terrible pull. So like you guys know, right? So far in the 5 events of this particular season, I haven't gotten a single pull that was a Master Collection card. And in fact, I'm getting 2 out of the 3 pulls gave me keys. Okay, and then I got another guaranteed keys here. So very bad. This is terrible. Like this is like, you know, bad feeling right now. But I'm gonna go to tier 4 so I can at least afford tier 4 here. I'm contemplating on whether or not I want to go tier 5. I will be able to afford a tier 5. I really wouldn't. I would rather not have to if I don't have to. But there is another support card. We got our basically event card, another support card, and basically this is just support cards galore. Okay, and they've chosen to give me all of these. They've chosen to give me all of these support cards, and they refuse to give me either the Master Collection card or basically non-guaranteed. I haven't gotten any non-guaranteed gold card in 5 weeks. Okay, 5 weeks I haven't gotten it, and look at all of this silver cards here. And last time when I was able to craft the deck, I faced the same issue, and this is rather annoying. Okay, 4 tiers, nothing, but I'm gonna go for tier 5 this time. I have the gems to do it. I would like to try and get the deck, so if I can get at least a master or the ultra rare, I will be able to craft the team. And I thought about using, like, you know, the gems for like the 500 gems pulls and etc., but honestly they're just not quite worth it in terms of like what, like, I don't get anything out of it, so it always feels like a waste. So I'm just gonna go ahead and bite the bullet and go to tier 5 this time. Yeah, it is pretty terrible so far. Five events now without actually pulling an actual Master Collection card or the ultra rare card. And there is another support card that I got. Oh my god, are you kidding me? So here is the rare relic, and I don't have the Master Collection card or ultra rare card in 5 tiers. 5 events, 5 tiers. And I got absolute junk. What do I need like 7 or 8 support cards for? All right. So basically, look at that. 3 I got 3 gold cards. All 3 of them are guaranteed relics. Not a single guaranteed gold card, but I got all of the support cards that you could possibly pull. So this is one of those cases where RNG has been terrible for me this whole season, and I can craft 1 card. Every time I'm in the situation where I can craft 1 card, I end up not getting the card I need. And so this is basically a terrible event already. Off to a terrible start. And just going to have to close this off. I can't even show the deck. I can't even show the deck even though I want to. And so now it's basically, taunting me saying, hey, just go 1 more tier and you're guaranteed to get the 6-star card. And, I would actually... I'm not going to do that because I don't have enough gems. I don't think I'm going to be willing to spend another 5,500 gems for tier 6 after that experience. So hopefully your experience is going to be better than mine. Objectively speaking, this deck is a good deck that I think has really good potential. And if I were to craft either one of the two, if I had to pick one of the two, I would probably pick the ultra rare card, because the ultra rare card gives you the ability to actually, because it gives you the attack boost. So given a choice, you should always pick a card that gives you the attack boost over a card that gives you a nuke, because that is what's going to make a difference between having a really good damage versus not. And so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to wait a little bit, right? If you take a look at my coin count, I've got 58, so not nearly close enough to getting a second card. And so even if I get 6 from the event and then another 6 from tomorrow's vault, that's 12. 12, that gets me to 70. And I will be still 14 short. And so I'm not going to be able to actually craft both cards for an ultimate form. And so it's unlikely I'm going to get the deck. And so the alternative for me then is to try and see if potentially I can use the Lagomorphic Queen, because I need to have something that gives me power gems. But it's more likely that I'm probably just going to end up building a team that focuses on the Blitzkrieg Beast. So I will probably build a deck that's going to look something like this. So it's probably going to end up being a deck that goes like this, and we'll have Merrick in here, right? And I might put in the support cards. And let's take a look just exactly how many I actually got. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 support cards this event. I don't think I have a shortage of them. Okay, and so I will probably use that as a leader, because this card will actually boost all cards that are immortal killers. And honestly, these cards aren't really that useful. Princess Reverie and Stonetail, if you look at the skills, it creates 2 power gen 4s and it adds budding polarity. And the budding polarity actually gives you basically decreased damage. And only on the 3rd turn, it flips and increases the damage that's taken by heroes and enemies by 10%. So this could potentially help a little bit, because you're giving yourself a little bit of an advantage, but it does require you to basically wait until 4 turns. And it only creates 2 power gen 4, so that's not too bad, but it's honestly not as good as having another Merrick there. So I might end up doing something like this. Or I might add another Merrick in there, and let's see. Right, so it'll probably be something like this, where I'm using 2 cards from this event and 3 cards from the previous event. All of them will have at least 4 times 400% damage boost, and this one is going to give me 600% damage boost because I have it at 2 stars. So I could at least use this option. And if you guys if you guys have this, then I would recommend trying that as well. And in terms of relics, right, I do also have the Immortal Killer. And this one, I can also basically create a... well, it looks like I ended up getting I ended up getting, yeah, because it was a bonus, right? So I ended up getting a 2-star ultimate relic. So at least there's that. So I can forge it to 2-star. And what does the 2-star do? So let's take a look at the 2-star relic here. So 1-star gives you increased attack for all immortal killers. And 2-star just gives you more killer shield breaker. All right, so it increases attack there, gives you a power gem 2. Increases attack by an additional 100% as long as the immortal killer is active. Increases the health, so you're going to have more health here. And it will basically clear 3 immortal shields. So that should mean that with basically this and then 4 other relics, I shouldn't have any issues clearing all the shields. But this is the best I'm going to be able to do, I think, in this event. Contemplating on whether or not I actually want to use my coin to craft this fire ultra rare card, because it is going to be useful in the Slayer event. So I'm still thinking about that. Alternatively, the other deck that would be really good to think about would be the fire commander deck that we just had. And that would be the Jailer's deck, right? So the Jailer's deck also has really good damage output, and in fact, if you have more ultra rare cards, the more damage you'll deal. Although I'm thinking in terms of Arcane Slayer. So if you take a look at Arcane Slayer, okay, so both of those decks would actually be available still in the next event. And so whether you use your coins for the Earth Slayer, Earth Commander, or the Fire Commander, they're both going to be okay. So I'm still hanging on to see if I want to spend my coins on this particular event or not. And if I choose to, then I will probably then just replace that card with replace Ivan with that card, so that I can at least get more boost from all of my Power Gen spawners. So Power Gen spawn is the way to go here. All of these cards have really good Power Gen spawning abilities, and so it's going to help you deal more damage as well. This one also creates, basically up to 6 Power Gens every turn. Okay. Missing some chat here, so let's take a look here. So you got the ultra rare in your 500 gem draw, so that's really good because that's generally really hard to do. I find that I haven't had that much luck now, and so I can say this whole entire season now has been bad luck for me in terms of the vault draws. I can't believe it, actually. I can't actually believe that I would go tier 5 and not pull anything over 5 events, right? All of the tiers I've pulled so far, not a single gold card. That was actually a surprise for me. So I hope your luck is going to be a lot better. So let's see, Alan. So the question of whether or not this deck is worth it, I think that the deck is worth at least tier 4 if you have the gems for it. Is it worth spending money on? No. Like I actually did invest in the dark in the Earth deck, but I'm not going to invest in this one. Okay, so like generally my rule of thumb is if I really, really like something, if I really like the mechanic, then I will probably invest in it if I really need to. But in this particular event, I think it's good, but not quite worth the investment there. Okay, so Bowen, what about the Chaotic Killer deck? So Chaotic, I think, is done. All right, so if you take a look at the this particular event, if you look at Chaotic Killers so far, what we've got is we've got the Water Slayer, okay, and we've got the Water Slayer, and we've got, actually no, we haven't actually done the Chaotic yet. So I think Chaotic is going to be next season. We're going to see Chaotic next season. This season mostly has been Arcane, and we saw some Immortal, but the Arcane Killer, there's still 2 more. There's still the Earth Slayer, and there is still the Fire Slayer events that we're going to see Immortal and Earth Slayer Arcane. So that's going to be useful. And if you take a look at sort of like what we've seen this past season, if you just kind of go by age here. So this past season, right? The decks that we've seen, I think some of them are already done. And so they're not going to be applicable anymore. Oh my gosh, there's a ton of cards here. Anyways, what I'm gonna do is after this video, after this stream, I will come up with another video later on that's going to explain what you should invest in. But again, like I said, I think the only ones that are really worth it are going to be the Earth Commander and the Fire Commander. The rest of them are kind of iffy for me. I don't think it's going to be quite worth it to go after. So let's see, you got nothing tier 3. Like, you know, I've seen a lot of people say like they got, you know, the full team by tier 3, etc. That's really awesome. And, you know, that's really, really good luck. So I hope that, you know, the same luck goes for you. Unfortunately, not for me. For Drill Fist store, I'm trying to remember what it's going to be. I can't remember. So somebody, if you've taken a look at the sort of the spreadsheet and what's there, you should put that in the chat. Another way I think we can look at it would be if you take a look at the Proving Ground. So if you take a look at the Proving Ground store, we can take a look and see what's available. Okay, and so in terms of the Fire Commander, we should expect to see the Magma Ventrix. So we're going to expect to see the Fire Arcane Killer Commander deck. So I believe this is what we're going to see, because right now what you're able to get is the Sky Swarm. No, was it the, what was it again? If I remember correctly, let's take a look at the Drill Fist Depot right now. It's one of those things where I just can't remember. Right. So right now we're seeing May the Pitiless deck. So you will be able to get the Magma Ventrix deck when this store refreshes. So that's what's going to be available. And let's see what we get in our free gift. Do we get some gems at least? Cover for the loss from this vault pull. Unfortunately not. Yeah, so there are still going to be some options, but I would highly recommend using the Blitzkrieg deck if you have it. And there's going to be also some other options as well. Let's see, Melvin. So you try triple attack. It only works if you're on the same boss. If you to the next stage, yes. So if you're playing in waves, this is the same as the Freedom Fighter deck. All of those other decks that basically nuke on the next turn, they don't work. They don't work in waves. So if you take out the full the boss in that wave, it doesn't actually go off the next turn, and you're going to have to wait 2 more turns for it to come back again. So that is something you have to pay attention to. So let's see, you got 1 support card and 3 regular relics, some keys, and usual. I guess that's probably like tier 2 or tier 3 then. So yeah, so me, myself, and the 1100 Primal Torchbearers ultimate form is what you can expect to get. And so let's see. So is a turn for Fire Dinosaurs? Yeah. So basically everybody's helping me answer there. So that is basically this event. I'm taking a look to see if there's any news feed for what to expect, if there's any changes here. And let's take a look. So that's the lore. Let's take a look at the news feed. So the newsfeed talks about the bonus relic, and that's all it says. Okay, so what I also wanted to do is I was hoping to maybe sort of go through, you know, I had a video yesterday on the Karelian bosses, and so some of the things I don't know if I really mentioned is Karelian bosses, in my opinion, might actually be more worth it than spending 50 coins on the regular golden trial bosses. The reason I say that is because so far my experience has been that you are almost guaranteed to get the cores. So if you look at the rewards here, you can potentially get the bones, you can get the scale, eyes, and core. You can't get teeth. So the teeth is the one that they've taken out here. So if you look at the golden trial bosses here, you can get the teeth, the bones, scales, eyes, and cores. But what ends up happening is you pretty much always get 4 out of the 5, and the 5th one that you never ever get is the core. Now what happens here is the Ascended Ingot is the 5th one that you could potentially get, and that's the one that's going to be a very rare drop. And so because of that, you're actually going to get cores. Okay, so if you can get cores by, you know, how many of us have gone through at least 10, 5 of these bosses and not getting a single core drop? So if you've experienced that, then I think that this might actually be more worth it in that, yes, you're spending 250 tokens, but if you're guaranteed to have a core drop, and that's something you've been looking for, this actually might be a better investment overall, because I think I certainly haven't had cores in more than 5 bosses more often than not. And so this is almost a guarantee, and I think that evens out a little bit. And plus, there's a lot of different teams that you can use to take this out. And these ascended ingots are universal, so I can actually show you, because I managed to get one drop. Remember that fire one that I didn't finish? After I finished it off, I managed to get one. And so I used it to then craft this one, which is from Quetzalcoatl, because it gives you additional damage decrease from your attackers. And so attackers now will do 15% less damage rather than 10% less. So that's the first one I chose. But if I could get 4 more, then I can easily get to a full set of 3 start cudgels, and everything will be essentially double. So I'll get so attackers will deal 30% less damage, which might actually help quite a bit. And so, Keith, you got ingots on the first boss today. Hey, congratulations! And so I think that's sort of like what people wanted to see, right? That you're going to be able to actually take it out. And now for me, I think if I'm going to go after one, I might go after Suitor. So I'm going to build a team for Suitor right now, and I want to take a look. So we're going to go with water, and the type is going to be Legend. So the Generation 2 Legend cards now, they are really, really good. So they've really made a difference here, and I guess I must have sold it. And so I'm going to go ahead and go to my codex. And what's nice is now, without any worry about me having to sell cards to make space, I can just go and buy back all of these Legend cards that I have actually sold. So let's see, which one did I actually want to get back? I think I wanted to get back, where is it? I think Lila or Baron. I guess I'll probably buy back Lila. I think I prefer Lila's, right? So Lila in Legend Trials, decreased by 2 and 2200. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get one back. Let's go and build a team here, take out a Karelian boss, and let's see if we can get lucky with our ascended ingot. I would like to have a little win, a little bit of a win today. If I can get something good, that would be really good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just use this deck because I have it, and it's going to be, I don't remember what killer skill it is, but I was really happy that I was able to get this, because the Wave Mothers, or the Wave Warriors, is the card that I was waiting for forever. I was trying to get the I was waiting to get the ultra rare card for the longest time. And so let's go ahead and see Water Commander here, and that's going to be this one right here. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and build this out. And let's go ahead and take this out. I think I don't have Water Beast Killer though. Let's take a look. If you can also use Beast Killer bonus, if you can actually use the right killer bonus along with your cards here, that would actually be good. Metharm project. So I can't actually apply it to all my teams. And so I'm just gonna go ahead. I don't think I need the killer bonus. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and summon Surtur, and let's go and take it out. So the core is not guaranteed. You didn't get any cores? That's too bad. So I've actually gotten cores for every single one of my bosses so far. So I guess it's not a guarantee, but I think it has a much higher chance to drop than the others, right? So I expect this to actually be pretty quick. So Damien Lord, did I see a question today about the Wardens being able to ascend to 4 pink stars? I think I saw something in my chat, in my feed today, and honestly, I think Feels like it might be a mistake more than anything because they didn't announce anything, and I haven't actually heard anything about that. Melvin, what do I think about the beta that they're doing? I think you're referring to the Gem Crush beta that was announced in the newsfeed where they're asking for a playtest. I think that when they're ready to share more, hopefully they'll be able to talk more about that. But what I do know is that they would like to try to bring out, something more fun, that they could, that could make this a fun experience, but they don't want to do this just, rolling out and basically without people giving feedback. So they've learned their lesson about making big sweeping changes without getting feedback from people first. And so I think that's going to be the first thing we should expect to see. And that is we're going to get some people to give feedback, and then they're going to make the appropriate changes, and then we'll see what happens there. Besides that, I have to wait and see what they publicly announce before I could really give more of my thoughts there. Okay, so let's see. I don't know how I did it earlier, where I was able to get basically a much fuller board. So maybe what we want to do is we probably just want to save our power gems a little bit. And I think what I need to do, one of the things you can also do is, like, you can also farm your power gems by letting it passively spawn. But in this situation here, I basically, if I had timed this so that it happened with my passive power gem spawn, I would have been able to deal more damage. But I think I'm going to get my passive gem spawn this turn now, or maybe the next turn, and so I should be able to take this out really easily. So here, this is, like this deck here, even though it's it's a little bit older now, they're still super useful, super strong. Love using them. I think this should be able to take out like level 10 easily still, right? So like all of my other bosses, they're level 20, 30 now at this point. And so with this deck, with the changes to the legends, there shouldn't be any problems going at least level 10. And so let's see, any other questions there? You have enough coins to craft the complete deck, and you already have the complete Earth Commander deck. So as you said, it would be a good idea to craft this deck. Yeah, so like I would say, like then you don't really need to invest deeply, Alan. I would say, go for it. If you already have that many coins, let's go for that. Because I think this deck is worth playing. Like, I think it's going to be fun playing. All right, so let's see. So we've got Bone, Tooth. Wait, they didn't actually say this was going to be. I thought that Tooth was not actually part of it. Okay, so I was wrong. You can still get Tooth. I thought they completely removed that, and so that's why the cores are guaranteed. I did end up getting a core, no Ascended Ingot, unfortunately. But that is basically, how you could take out those bosses. So couldn't get my win. Didn't get my win here. And that's also going to be it for this particular episode here. So quick summary here, just before I end. This deck, I believe, should at least come close to giving you 500% overkill, especially if you have 2 Ultra Rare cards. So if you have extra coins and you're looking to build a deck that can give you overkill, I think having the Ultra Rare card is going to be the way to go. And if you are looking to use your coins for something, I would say probably the Earth Commander is going to be slightly more advantageous than this deck. But these are going to be the two that I think will be best to go for. Okay, and so they took the options away. Yes, I think that was a mistake. So that's what I was thinking. And Jose, now they're more difficult to kill. Yeah, so like they made the boss more difficult, but just look for cards that have passive spawns and you're good to go. Look for cards that have damage boost and passive gen spawns, and you're not gonna have any issues dealing with Terror Ages. Okay, so thanks very much for watching, guys. Hopefully you have much better luck than I did this event. I will have to decide whether I will care enough to just get myself a single card here, or I'm going to make my deck a little stronger by getting myself a second Ultra Rare card of the Jailer deck. So we'll see. And whatever way I decide, I will let you know. So keep an eye out for also my Ultimate Foreign ranking video later on this week, so that you can make a better decision on what to do with your coins. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye now.